Well, it's finally here! The part 2 of my How Strong is King video, featuring the new fight scenes from AVM39. I know it's been a little late, but I've been pretty sick this May. But let me tell you, this video is an absolute doozy. If you want to see the previous part, you can check up the card here. Today we're breaking down King's new episode, which significantly shows how strong he is without any kind of OP buffs. With that, let's begin. King's primary fighting style in AVM39 is an extension of his speed from the King and the Warden, but significantly more defined. Especially since he doesn't have the staff anymore, so this is just purely his. King's dexterity is his most highlighted asset, showing a level of expertise in fast hits coupled with faster swap speeds. King also backflips a lot to get to higher elevations, and we see him do a sick bow shot while backflipping. His short-ranged weapon technique varies depending on the weapon. When we see him fight with the staff, he uses it to the fullest versatility, from blocking like a full body rod to bashing someone's head in like a hammer. For swords, he's much more light-footed, prioritizing faster swings with shorter contact time. But when he's pissed, he goes for the good old reliable of grabbing someone by the neck and beating them to death. Another aspect of his fighting style is the speed in swapping weapons, a possible homage to his abilities back then. Actually, I think King's fighting style is similar to Green's but with different fundamentals. I also like his little maneuvers where he just throws the weapon mid-sequence. King's fighting style is definitely a reflection of how he was fighting in the King. And what I like about this is that he really is proficient with different kinds of weapons, showing that when he did have the ultimate power of the Minecraft block, he still had the fundamentals of how each of the weapons are supposed to act. But let's move on to his mentality. King Orange's combat mentality has shifted throughout the seasons, especially since he shifted from being an antagonist to a protagonist, and especially since he became more of a supporting adult role. On a character level, what I appreciate about King's development is he's now open to Purple's shenanigans. He's tethering between the balance of letting Purple have fun to actually intervening when things get dire. He's not here to steal Purple's thunder, but he does have the right to be worried given the circumstances. To mirror this protectiveness, King Orange's combat mentality is now almost exclusively reactive. He intervenes when he thinks a situation has already jeopardized Purple. He engages more aggressively when Purple's in danger. He also scolds Purple's recklessness and naivete, an extension to 37. Noticeably, he doesn't seem too bothered when the guy killed the Valkyrie Queen until after Purple antagonizes the player. Notice how he looks back twice to see Purple's reaction slowly escalating, and he tries to calm him down. And when the player shows signs of hostility, that's when King Orange actually engages. Additionally, King's preference with weapons and mechanics are strictly vanilla. Now, onto the part that I'm really excited about, the frame-by-frame analysis of his fight with the Queen. I didn't get the chance to really dedicate a frame-by-frame analysis video in the previous How Strong is King video because I already did a frame-by-frame analysis of the King fight as a whole. But now we have one where we see the small intricacies of how he blocks, attacks, and how he maneuvers. And I really enjoy seeing these little movements from his because it reminds me of a different fighting style altogether. I think this fight really encapsulates what makes King Orange's fighting style really different, especially if you're coming from the King and the Warden. You also see a big discrepancy to it when you compare it to Purple's. But the reason I want to do this is because a lot of King's actual cooler sword techniques are hidden in the sequences. The fight begins with King delivering a two-handed upward swing that focuses on strength. Then, when the Queen backs away, he tries to swipe at her with both hands on the hilt. But notice that when the Queen dives back, King shifts backwards and swaps to a one-handed grip. Here, his fighting style shifts from strength to dexterity. Footwork is the crucial maneuver as he backs away and blocks with half strikes. Then he balances himself again with a wide stance. But notice that he keeps his stance wide enough to step back when needed. This footwork logic is similar to fencing footwork. According to Red Bull, which, yeah, sounds about right, are designed to train your muscles to alternate between small, refined steps and explosive bursts of movement. The point is that the footwork makes it so that the transition between lunging and pulling backward is almost seamless, making it so that you can block or parry or dodge or attack without any kind of lag that breaks your balance. Going back, King does the ox guard. He swings down and is now on full offensive before retreating back to position. King is able to react fast enough to an attack to the legs, but notice that he's off stance. He's able to parry with a half strike, but he has to completely dodge backwards just to not get sliced. The problem with the stance like this is that the only way for your sword is to go down, or else you'll fall over. So the queen reads the swing fast enough to counter-attack almost instantly. King jumps over the sword though and does a graceful land. The raised back foot is what he needs to continue the lunge and swing forward, but he trades another blow and he can't get a hit on the Valkyrie queen. The queen's sword actually moves around King's and forces King to back off or else he'll get disarmed. This gives the queen the needed opening to deliver multiple piercing strikes. King does a cool block here actually, where he catches the end with the flat of the blade, then he twirls the blade over his head to deliver a downward strike before lunging upwards. They trade blows and we see that King goes back to the ox guard, but he doesn't react fast enough and is pierced. When he heals up, I like that the same maneuver doesn't work twice on him and he blocks correctly. Because he's the one with better stance control and he has the momentum of the sword, he's able to control the sequence. He destabilizes the sword by moving around it and then swiping up, which leaves the queen open to a pivot and gets a slash to the back. What's also interesting about King is that he doesn't block the same way if he already did in the last sequence. This time, even when he's already posed to block, he jumps over the queen then focuses on a reverse grip. This is what gives him the trajectory to step on the queen's feet and knock her back. He tries to stab through, but he misses. When the queen re-lunges, King jumps over her. However, King is still on the defensive with all counterattacks being dodged. After King parries the lightning ball, we see a shift in his attack style. Now he's dodging and blocking more because he's against two enemies. King does a cool dodge downwards before wrapping the sword to his back and piercing down, almost similar to how he was fighting green and red. He does another reverse grip block behind him before being forced to dodge. King's continuously overwhelmed here as his stances and swings become more erratic. The queen also starts flying, so that's kind of cheating. And this is where King decides that enough is enough. He builds a makeshift hammer and here we see him shift fighting styles. We see him get a new level of confidence, spite, and his movements lose that previous dexterous finesse. We're completely back to strength. Notice that he's completely on the offensive. When he does deliver a half strike, the windup is enough to bring the hammer down and bludgeon the queen. He does another strike, but he plants the head on the ground to use the body as a pole to swing himself around. Then he continues the flurry of attacks. King during this sequence is completely on the offensive, no dodges, no blocks. Just straight up raw power swinging that staff around with the same proficiency he did with the color gang. Another maneuver I like that he does is when he parries for a flurry, he ducks down and starts spinning the staff to block incoming projectiles with the body. Then he jumps up and delivers the same series of final blows. King's fight scene shifting shows his comfort levels between the two weapons. On one hand, the sword is made for more precise hits that enable his mobility and dodges, but you can tell that it's a much more careful, calculating fighting style. If anything, it's more like he's still studying the opponent to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake that would get him killed. On the other hand, the staff is where he's most comfortable and where he's most offensive, because his speed mixed against a weapon that allows full, unadulterated engage is lethal. Nevertheless, I like how they still supplemented his absolute bonkers streak into the King with a very bold, no, he's always been this brutal. Not only did he make a great villain back then to stick figures that were literally made to fight, but now as a guardian, you can rely on him realistically as someone that can protect them. You don't have any doubts that the Color Gang are strong in their own right, but King Orange needs to be on par with them so that you can realistically say as a character, yeah, they have every reason to think that he's capable of protecting them in the fight. And well, he is. Anyway, my name is Mushi and that has been How Strong is King Orange Part 2.